That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was it.
You have it. Hey.
Stanford University Human Biology Class of 2020. Welcome to you, to your family members and friends, and to the total Humbio community. My name is Leanne Kurina, and as Bing Director of the program in Human Biology, it is my honor to open this event to celebrate our extraordinary seniors. Now, when people use the term extraordinary, there's usually a little bit of hyperbole involved. But in this case, it fits. You all had to pivot quickly in response to the burgeoning global pandemic. You've since finished out your Stanford careers at a distance under really challenging circumstances. You did it. And now we find ourselves in completely unprecedented times. We're still working our way through and out of the pandemic. But at the same time, we are witnessing globally an energized movement to push back against the plague of racism. So that really gives us hope. Now, as human biology majors, each and every one of you has a lot of experience immersing yourselves in apparently intractable problems. You've learned how to think about those problems from multiple perspectives and how important that is with regard to solving those problems. When the human biology program was founded just about 50 years ago now, the vision was to develop scholars and thinkers just like you who, through the generations, could make a positive difference in our world. As a class, you have demonstrated your many gifts and your really hard work in all of your studies at Stanford. The world will need you, our extraordinary seniors, to use all of your training, all of your thoughtfulness, and all of your goodness to help move us to where we need to be. We can get there. We will get there. And much of my optimism comes from knowing just how wonderful you, our future makers, are. Let's dwell on that wonderfulness for just a bit, shall we? Before we move forward here with the celebration and you move forward with your lives, I would like all of you to stop for a moment. Look back, reflect on and recognize all of the hard work you have put in all of your lives to reach this very moment. It's a lot. We Your teachers, your family members, and your friends are all so very proud of you. Now, moving on with our ceremony, it is my pleasure to hand it over to Associate Director Katherine Preston, who will introduce our fantastic student speakers. I'll see you again at the end.
Our first student speaker is Julia Todderud. Julia was a freshman when I first met her to talk about the Corps, but she spoke so passionately about her art practice that I thought for sure we were going to lose her to another major. Fortunately, she stayed with Humbio, concentrating in cognition and early childhood development. She also majored in art practice, and she completed an absolutely incredible senior synthesis project, making a series of detailed anatomical drawings that experiment with the style of Italian Renaissance artists. Julia?
Graduating from Stanford. What a crazy moment right now. We have all worked so incredibly hard to get here, and I feel so fortunate for the human biology department, faculty, professors, family and friends, and every fellow graduate here today to celebrate this accomplishment with. We couldn't have done it without each other. We've come through 4 years of midterm panics, papers that never seem to reach the word count, insane Google calendars, and a pandemic. It's always been one of my favorite things to ask my peers to share their Stanford acceptance stories. We all have it, that moment we got the big, "Congratulations, you're going to college." I love these stories because every single person tells it well, whether it's something crazy, emotional, or hilarious disasters in some cases. I think the reason I love to hear them is because it was a moment that meant so much to every single one of us. It was a moment filled with opportunity and possibility to engage in an incredible place. We're all connected by this moment of uncertainty. When I got my Stanford admissions email, I was sitting at home trying to calm down before checking when my mom walked in. I wanted to look at the results by myself in case it was bad news, but my mom stood there talking for 45 minutes while I was just getting more and more nervous. I was so tense, eyes wide, and my mom was talking about something I was not even capable of paying attention to. When she finally went outside, I checked, and I nearly had a heart attack when I saw the acceptance. My whole body started shaking in a sort of aftershock, and I could barely speak while sharing the news. I was so excited. I hope that you all take a moment to remember that time for yourselves, filled with excitement for the journey ahead. We set out to learn, and boy, did we do that. If I learned anything, it's that human biology has some weird stuff. The sonic hedgehog protein, having to spell Homo heidelbergensis, and we all know more about lactose tolerance than any person has ever needed to know. Here, we got to learn about people. When I got accepted, I saw Stanford as the beginning of my career and an opportunity to excel. But every one of my moments of growth had more to do with all of you than with any professional accomplishment. Right now feels like admissions decisions all over again. We are connected again by that excitement and anticipation in a moment of overwhelming uncertainty. In that moment of transition from high school to college, I wanted nothing more than to have it just to myself. But here I am desperately wishing for togetherness in this transition from Stanford to what comes next. We all have different paths from here. We all have that same freedom, opportunity, hope. It feels so strange to me. We all came from so many different backgrounds, spent 4 years seeing each other almost every single day, and then head off in every different direction. But I am so excited for all the next beginnings, embracing that uncertainty and facing it feeling connected with so many incredible people. I leave with only gratitude and pride for every moment with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Our next speaker is Mikaela Brewer. You probably know Mikaela as a member of the basketball team, and you may also have read her columns in the Stanford Daily, where she explored the joys and challenges of being a student athlete at Stanford. In Humbio, she concentrated in brain behavior and mental health. Now, Mikaela understands that science and storytelling go hand in hand, and so she minored in creative writing and also earned a notation in science communication. Next year, she will conduct neuroscience research, collaborate with friends on some new projects about mental health, and even edit a novel she wrote last fall. We might even get a chance to see her back on the basketball court in a professional uniform in another year or so. Mikaela?
I remember the first time I walked into A-Side lecture back in 2017. The allure to something as intricately interwoven as human biology had been feeding my thoughts since my freshman spring. It was this big, beautiful, hopeful thing out in front of me, and I didn't know how much I needed it as I healed from one of the darkest few months of my life. In my freshman winter, I succumbed to a long battle with mental illness and found myself in the Stanford Hospital on a 5150 hold, doing intensive therapy in the psych ward many weeks later. I had lost confidence in my voice, and I was looking for something to fill that void. We're never prepared for how challenging life can be, but it has this way of showing us how to fight back. Every Humbio P-set, rationale, midterm, and project definitely kept my hands full. But they prepared me for something much bigger and guided me towards something that I didn't think I could find again. I feel like human biology is kind of like the AirPods of Stanford majors. It's revolutionary. We are the only people who can blend multiple fields. You will never be the odd one out of a conversation because these two words, human biology, are at the center of the web that defines humanity. We are the ones at the center, branching out to the rest of the world. During my sophomore year, I publicly shared my story with the student-athlete community for the first time. I found myself in this sort of beautiful center ground. I found my ability to do this creatively through written and oral storytelling. In the fight for normalizing mental health as a continuum, as opposed to a binary phenomenon, I felt an obligation. There are stories that need to be shared and things that need to be said, and I am one of the ones who needs to say them. Of course, I went on to declare human biology with a concentration in the brain, behavior, and mental health. But I also pursued creative writing, captivated and healed by how much of science is actually storytelling. Human biology helped me find a purpose in my voice again, a purpose in communicating my own mental health struggles, and studying the science of why they happen to those around me. Hearing other stories, your stories, has helped me and motivated me as much as sharing my own. In a time where things like COVID-19, climate change, and the fight for equality are only the beginning of what comes next, the need for creativity, imagination, and innovation in these fields is crucial to foster change. Creativity is the place where no one else has been, and it is the place where we need to go. Take risks, sprint towards your passions, because here's the thing. Human life, and our own within it, is this big thing lying out in front of us. It will present incredible challenges, but with confidence, I say we have the power and the knowledge to change current trajectories and shape them into something beautiful and hopeful for ourselves and the world. I used to get frustrated because Humbio autocorrected to humble every single time I typed it. Now I know what an honor it is to spell out my major, human biology, and how humbled I am by its impact. Every single one of you.
Thank you, Mikaela. Our final student speaker is Angela Wang. I have really enjoyed getting to know Angela over the past couple of years through her honors research. She investigated genetic pathways that cause inflammation in the human placenta and whether they differ between male and female fetuses, possibly explaining sex differences in the risk of pregnancy complications. But before that, I knew Angela from the Humbio Corps as one of the students who, during those long weeks 7 and 8, when it starts to rain and everyone is sleepy, never seemed to lose her smile. In Humbio, Angela concentrated in the study of viruses and the spread of human disease, which, she notes, she knew would be relevant, but not this relevant. Angela?
Little Rock, Arkansas is just about as different as you can get from Beijing, China. But I grew up in both places. Y'all, I just don't belong here. I remember telling my parents after my first day of school in China, I might as well just live in the middle of the ocean. No, then you'd drown, my brother told me. Always the practical one. So with the middle of the ocean out of the question, I learned how to build bridges between my two cultures. I learned how to speak fluent Mandarin and use this to teach Chinese patients in the Cardinal Free clinics about the U.S. healthcare system, which I learned from Dr. Bhattacharya in the econ department. I learned about viruses in Dr. Siegel's virology class, and the spread of disease in Dr. Fisher's cancer epidemiology class, and used this to translate a letter about a coronavirus treatment for my father who works in drug research in China. Now, only one of these things I just mentioned has a Humbio course code in its title, but together they comprise a large chunk of my SFACT. It's why our major is so special. We are not special because we can, or at least some point could, draw the molecular structure of glucose and galactose, but because we understand that our unique milk drinking capacity is the product of our different cultures. We are not special because we know the organs of the reproductive system, but because we know the difference between sex and gender and the complexity of these issues in our society today. To us, the world isn't divided by the sciences and the humanities, by the cell culture room and the communities that we serve, but intertwined by the bridges we build between us, by all the things that make us so uniquely human. These lessons of humanity are what will comprise the bridges we will build in the following years. Some of them we are learning already as we study the structure of the coronavirus, as our classmates sew masks, run food drives, and march for equality. Others we learned in the standing ovation we gave Professor Durham. That morning we realized that we are the last group to hear his famous lactose lectures. It's in the way we discussed our P-sets, read each other's theses, and celebrated when we saw familiar faces in each of our upper div classes. Today, in this unprecedented time, we graduate. We part, not just as classmates, but as friends and future colleagues, because I know that you all are the ones I want to work with in the future. Today we graduate from the best school, from the best department, connected not by a single stage on our beloved campus, but by the memories we share and the bridges we have built and will continue to build together. Thank you.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Hope when you take that jump, you don't feel the fall. Hope when the water rises, you build a wall. Hope when the crowd screams out, you're screaming your name. Hope if everybody runs, you choose to stay. Hope that you fall in love and it hurts so bad. Hey, the only way you can know, you give it all you had. And I hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain. Hope when the moment comes, you'll say, I swear I lived. Hope that you spend your days, but they all add up. And when that sun goes down, hope you raise your cup. Oh, I wish that I could witness all your joy and all your pain. But until my moment comes, I'll say I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. And with every broken bone, I swear I lived.
Hello, and greetings to our finishing seniors, to parents and family, to friends, faculty and staff, to anyone who's out there watching today. I'm Loren Baker, one of the faculty who work closely with the Human Biology program. And I have to start with huge congratulations to our seniors. Your energy, your creativity, your passion for learning and service are really inspiring. Congratulations to you all. And it's my pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Dr. Annette Salmeen. I've had the pleasure of working with her in her role as core coordinator in the Human Biology program these last 8 years or so, and it has been an absolute pleasure. One of the great privileges of being at Stanford and in the Human Biology program is regular interaction with remarkable people, and she is one of them. She combines a deep knowledge of science with a passion for applying that in education and for the greater good. She has distinguished accomplishments in science. She studied biochemistry at UCLA, where she was a top award-winning student, an accomplishment made more impressive by her commitment to athletics and swimming, which led her to an NCAA championship and an Olympic championship. She went on from UCLA to study at Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar, where she got her doctorate degree in biochemistry. She came and worked as a scientist at Stanford and at the Lawrence Berkeley Labs. Along the way, she's applied her expertise for good, for example, working on the board of directors of the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. And she's shown her passion for education with us at Stanford and in other places, working here to strengthen our programs in the core and create educational opportunities for students. Now that's all terrific, remarkable, really, but I also want to point out her remarkable humanity. She cares deeply about the students that she works with, the challenges that they face. And she shows me regularly the importance of seeing that individual people matter in how we teach and how we run our programs. I've seen her over and over go the extra mile to care for the students that she works with, showing us the power of noticing and caring about the people around her. That's human biology for me. We're about science, we're about making the world a better place, we're about education, but we're also about seeing the humans and seeing the humanity in the world around us and reacting to that. That's why I am so honored and so privileged to be able to work with Dr. Salmeen, why I am so honored and privileged to be able to welcome her to this virtual stage. May I present Dr. Annette Salmeen.
Hello and congratulations, Human Biology class of 2020. I am so honored to be a part of this celebration of you and your accomplishments. From the bottom of my heart, both the right and left ventricle, I can say that it has been a joy to get to work with and to get to know many of you. To the parents, families, and friends who are joining us today, thank you and congratulations to you as well. I know that you have helped support the graduates in so many ways. Back on the first day of Humbio 2A, when most of you started your Humbio journeys, our then program director, Dr. Paul Fisher, said, "We need leaders who can advance the human condition with combined perspectives from biology, behavior, society, and culture." This need has been more apparent to me than ever before in my lifetime these challenging last few months. We have seen firsthand how essential it is for scientists, healthcare providers, public health officials, and politicians to work together to interpret epidemiological data and create and communicate policies to protect public health. We have seen how policies designed to contain a virus and save lives can be impacted by equipment supply chains and can have unattended and unequal economic impact on communities. And we've been reminded not only through the pandemic, but by the Black Lives Matter movement and the protests against racial injustice, that there is much work to be done to eradicate systemic racism and related health disparities. As Humbio majors, you are well suited to becoming leaders who have the skills to interpret and communicate scientific information clearly, while also taking the social context into account. I have seen you grow through our time together in the core and through many interactions since. These past few weeks, I've been especially impressed with your honors, synthesis, and capstones presentations. Not only did you complete them amidst a global pandemic, but you presented them with enthusiasm, energy, and grace. They were propulsive and persuasive, just like those rubrics that we had on those projects back in the core. With your interdisciplinary knowledge and your ability to speak persuasively, you are well prepared to be informed participants in the complex global conversations that we are having in these unprecedented times. You have been trained to think critically as you confront information in our fast-paced, interconnected world. You know to check sources and to ensure that claims are supported by real data and analyzed with appropriate statistical models. While I have great confidence in you becoming leaders who can advance the human condition, this may sound a bit daunting. I know that from conversations with some of you that you are still working out your paths and that the future may seem, and that your paths ahead may feel uncertain. That is okay. What I can say from my own path is that I am glad that I listened to my heart. When I was writing my essays for graduate school applications, I said that I wanted to bring the excitement of unanswered questions and discovery to the classroom and convey my enthusiasm for science to my students. I hope I have done that for some of you. At the same time, I want to assure you that while that may seem now like a seamless transition, the reality was filled with twists and turns, disappointments, mistakes, and decisions that didn't seem very clear at the time. Another thing I will say is that leadership doesn't have to be big. It can come or grow from the small decisions that you make about what you value, the way you do your work, and how you treat others. One of the lessons I hold dear from my athletic career as a competitive swimmer is the value of focusing on the process, not just the end results. As a student athlete, I saw how daily decisions about how I approached my training, how I approached my classes, and how I took care of myself could impact my success both in and out of the pool. Years later, I still firmly believe and remind myself that daily decisions add up and they matter. And finally, you don't have to figure out your path alone. You can reach out to your mentors, including your human biology faculty and friends. You will need to work with teams to solve problems together in order to make change. I know I am grateful to work together with staff, faculty, and course associates in human biology to continually learn and strive to improve our program, curriculum, and teaching however we can. As I look at the human biology logo, I love how different elements of the major are represented and how they come together to form a heart. While the heart partially represents the cardiovascular system and physiology that we cover in Humbio 4A, to me it represents so much more about the major. Through countless conversations with students coming by my office or now on Zoom, I am consistently appreciative of the kindness and compassion that you all show. As you go forward, I hope that what you have learned in human biology will serve as only the beginning of making connections between the biological and social sciences. I hope you will continue learning and leading in your communities. And I hope you will find teams and communities who will help support you and help you make positive change and lasting contributions to our shared world. Regardless of your path, I wish you strength and resilience through the challenges and great joy along the way. Congratulations again on all that you have accomplished as human biology majors. Stay safe, stay healthy, and please come visit us.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Thank you so much, Annette, for those inspiring words. As you know, it's beautiful here at Stanford in June, but it's lonely without you. It will be so good when we can celebrate your graduation together one day. I really look forward to that. In closing, our world has changed immensely and in a really short period of time. Class of 2020, I challenge you to help decide what happens next. You can always use your voice. You can always stand up for what's right. You have energy, you have enormous capacity, you have resilience. And with all of those extraordinary features, you can help us determine how we move forward. And you don't need to do this alone. Among the many communities of which I know each of you is a part, remember that you always have this community here, the Stanford Humbio community, to support you. Composed of you, our awesome current graduates, rising students, and the thousands of wonderful Humbio alumni out there, the Stanford Humbio network is strong and vibrant and here for each and every one of you. Rely on those connections. Sociologists tell us that when we depend on our social ties, when we ask for help and when we give it, those ties get stronger, as does the larger community. I am 100% confident that individually and together, you will make a really positive difference in our world. I cannot wait to see where your careers and your lives take you. Really good things are ahead. On behalf of the program in human biology, I wish you congratulations, class of 2020. We are all so proud of you. Well done. Thank you so much for joining us today.